to welcome to this stage brand new diamonds, Trevor and Lexi Baker! Well, hey guys, all I gotta say is it's totally and completely worth it to do whatever you have to do to be a diamond on this stage. And we're just so thankful for every single one of you guys for celebrating this with us. Man, so thankful to all the amazing diamonds, because if it wasn't for them setting the stage and creating the foundation for every single one of us, there'd be no chance that any of us in this room would be here, let alone have the opportunity to create family freedom, financial freedom, build a dynasty for our families. And so we're just so unbelievably grateful to all the diamonds, my parents, of course, and obviously our upline crowns, Ron and Georgia Lee Prayer guys. But we love you guys so much, and I just want to hand this over to my beautiful wife, my diamond bride, Lexi Baker.
Hello. How are you guys? Well, it's very hard to describe what that feels like, let me tell you. I've had a lot of people asking over the last FEDs, what does it feel like to walk down that red carpet? And, it's really surreal. It's kind of an out-of-body experience, honestly, because it's something that Trevor and I have desired for so many years that when I looked back at pictures, I was like, wow, like that was us. I mean, that really happened. And I think the biggest thing that I can say, and the feeling that I have right now, is just grateful. So incredibly grateful for everything that all the diamonds that were up here and all the ones that even weren't here today, that they did for us, for you guys, for us to even just know that there's an opportunity to have freedom in our life, to be able to live an amazingly incredible life where you don't have to be average forever. And they chose to make decisions in their life that maybe didn't seem like a big deal to them at the time, but now have impacted all of you. Now you know that you have such promise in your life. Now you just have to act on that. And I know for me, my first experience truly with this business was FED. My parents were introduced to this. They were part of the Theron and Darlene Nelson organization, and they're awesome. I'm so grateful for them and everything that they did, so I could even be here. I remember seeing somebody getting recognized as a new diamond, and honestly, I don't remember who it was now, because that was a long time ago. It was right after high school, and I saw what now I wanted to be a part of for the rest of my life. I had a plan completely, and I was following that. I was all for it. I was pumped about it. And then I came here, and it was transformational for me. Everything that I had planned in my life, I threw out the window, and I was impacted by all the diamonds. I was impacted by the character and the integrity of Ron and Georgia Lee Pereira. How they were just godly people that chose to change their family and were overcoming and continue to overcome their fears so that I had an opportunity to know what we know today. They have been crucial to the formation of Trevor and I as people, knowing that there's that bar in our life that we eventually want to reach, and that's Ron and Georgia Lee. They're amazing. Glenn and Joya, first of all, I'm very grateful because they had Trevor. That was a really important part for me. But they have been amazing parents and coaches and mentors, and just they're so awesome, because I know all the diamonds are like this, but we get see a little more intimate side of everything. And they are exactly the same on a Tuesday morning if we go to visit them than when we all wake up and we have messy hair and haven't brushed our teeth and still wearing pajamas. They're the same person there as they are on stage. They are so much fun, have passion about them, and are really no nonsense, especially Joya. She has taught me how to be positive in every area all the time. We are just so thankful for them and the decisions that they made 20-something years ago. And who would have known that today, that now we'd have the opportunity to have a life and family championship, because they chose to do that for themselves. We have our incredible upline also, Gary and Dorothy Lowry, which I'm so grateful. I'm excited to get to know them more. My parents are not here, but if it weren't for them and everything that they did in our life, and we wouldn't be here. Honestly, also, they were very integral in the building our business and helping with babysitting and being new parents and everything. So they have been huge in all of those things. But I think just grateful for the fact that we know that this is possible. One thing Trevor and I talk about a lot is, especially for him, and I know it was for me too, especially for him, because all the diamonds were like aunts and uncles to him, that we have to remember that people outside of this room, especially once you've been here for a while, they don't know you can live this life. They don't know that freedom is a possibility. They don't know that you can live a life every single day on purpose without having to sacrifice the most important things to you to be able to have that. And we try to remember that all the time, but I'm just grateful is probably my big word for this whole FED swing. And we're so excited for our team. I will tell you, I'm so grateful for you guys, really. You and the decisions that you guys made. And I don't know why I'm getting emotional here. But I didn't even get emotional at our home function. So, but the decisions that you guys made has totally changed our life forever. Just lit a fire in us, and we were attracted to your hunger and your passion and your excitement and your fanaticalness. And I think that has been what has transformed a lot of who we are today and how we lead our team. So, okay, now I'm going to stop crying because I need to stop crying. But again, FED was the biggest game changer for me in my life. And you may think this is totally weird, but just be willing to open your heart and take it in. And why is this weird? Why is it weird that we're celebrating the chance and somebody that has decided to do something great for their family, and not me, not us per se, but just the ideal that is even possible? I think that's incredible. But I saw a collective group of people that were standing up for what is right. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be a part of a movement, of something that was greater than ourselves, and people that were challenging the status quo. They were not okay with just being average. We were not okay with that. We were allergic to average, and I saw people that were finally thought like me. I felt like I was home, and I knew that for the rest of our lives, this is what I wanted to do. This is who I wanted to be around. And I had no interest whatsoever in what was going on in my life when I left this, honestly. We got very streamlined and focused. Trevor and I actually met at that FED. We did, like Joya said, we met at a concession stand. I had a boyfriend at the time, so Trevor got my dad's number. It was very good. And we didn't start dating for a while, but eventually we did, and I got married, and we were all in from day one. We have never had a challenge with work habits. It was just learning other things along the way. And for me, honestly, I think it's all God's timing. We have a faith, and I think it's been something that we just have to continue to put in the work, be obedient, and have faith, and then He decides when it's time for the harvest. But we can't question what that journey is going to look like all along the way, because every time where we are frustrated or whatever it was, we would just sit there and say, okay, you know what? There has to be a reason for this, and we just can't see the plans that He has for us. We don't know what He's preparing us for, so we need to be grateful that we are going through this, because if we're having to go through a lot more junk and it's taking us longer, then that means He has incredible things waiting for us. So we embraced that, and we just got excited about that. Of course we had things to overcome. Let me tell you, it's not perfect at all. I can't believe I'm speaking up here, honestly. I was so shy and scared, and Dave Severin, every time I see him, he reminds me all the time. He's like, you were so scared every time you talked to me. You were like so intimidated, and now you're confident, and that's what mentorship does for you. That's what actually building your self-image through all those things does for you. But overcoming that fear and insecurities and the fear of failing, but honestly, I think the biggest thing for me, it wasn't fear of failing. Because I've always been overachiever in things that I knew that I could do well at. But I also had the challenge of being a perfectionist. And if I didn't think I could do it right, I just wouldn't start. So I had to overcome that, realizing that I'm not going to be perfect. Actually, it's better if I'm not. You can help more people. If you're perfect, then nobody else can do it like you. The other thing is, I think for me, it was more a fear of success. That once I got there, did I have what it took? Was I going to be enough to handle that? And the great thing is, all along the way, your journey prepares you for that. But no matter where you're at right now in your life, wherever you're at right now, you are enough. You are exactly where you need to be. You have what it takes right now to just put the work habit in and do it. And I hope you don't think that you need to be like anybody else up here. You don't need to be like me, you don't need to be like Marcy, you don't need to be like Julie, you don't need to be like any of the incredible diamonds, but it just needs to be you. And I think for me, that was one of the biggest things I had to overcome, because I saw amazing people. I saw the diamonds, and they were so polished and so great and incredible people skills, and I was terrible. I mean, Trevor would have to remind me when we left board plans, be like, Lexi, did you say bye to anybody? Like, did you hug them? I was like, no. Did I need to? Yeah, I've worked on that a lot. But all those insecurities and everything about that I felt that I wasn't good enough, or that I just I didn't measure up. Honestly, I didn't get over those till probably a little over a year ago. But it didn't matter. It didn't change the fact that we wanted to go diamond. It didn't change the fact that we wanted to earn the ability to be a part of Diamond Club. I mean, we wanted so badly to just be back in that diamond room and not be there as, helping out or going to enjoy his kids or anything like that, but actually earn it ourselves. And it's so much fun to be back there. I'm pumped for so many things that are happening this year. But we had the mindset that it doesn't matter. We're willing to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. We didn't have a contingency on how long was too long to where it wasn't worth it. And I think sometimes if our dream's not large enough, it's not going to pull us through the stuff we have to go through and that we're going to go through. Some of the things I know Brad talks about, but and he really shares with people all the time, stop them, are the things that we did. We made decisions in our life, and I call it clear the clutter. We cleared the clutter in our life. We decided not to go on vacations. I mean, Glenn and Joya, multimillionaire parents, would send us tickets and say, hey, by the way, you can come with us for a week to Hawaii. Everything's paid for. And the challenge is, I think that most of us in this room, if a family member, there's a multimillionaire, and you knew they were going to pay for everything on a trip and invited you to come, if you were in the pursuit of building your asset, a lot of people would say yes. And we just would, every time, Trevor didn't even have to ask me, this happened like 4 times, he would call Glenn and say, Dad, I appreciate it, but you just need to get your money back. We're not going to go. Right now we're focused on putting together our diamond ship. But we knew that in the long run, that if we were willing to just delay gratification for a period of time, it was going to be worth it in the end. Time with friends and stuff that Marcy talked about earlier. Being willing to stay focused and stay laser focused and cut out, with our money and really just delay our gratification for a while. The reason why I believe we were willing to do that is because we believed without a shadow of a doubt that we were going to go diamond. And number 2 is we actually backed it up with a work habit. Because when we backed it up with a work habit, then the sacrifices weren't a big deal. Because we knew that it was just going to be a short period of time before we could have all those things in our life again if we chose to. And really, most of the stuff, besides the vacations, I'm excited about that. All those other things don't really matter. We could have decided to use our kids. The fact that when we kind of came together and said, okay, we're going to run hard. And honestly, we got some incredible information from Marcy and all of you guys up here that helped us transform our business in so many ways. That was November 2012. Well, actually it was December, but our girls were born November 2012. And rather than deciding to use them as an excuse of like, oh man, I have 2 little ones. I need to stay home. This is so much harder. We just decided that I am excited about this. I'm pumped that now we have 2 kids. Now we can relate to more people on our team. They can never say that, oh, you don't know what we're talking about when we talk about kids and how this is a challenge. I'm like, no, we were pumped. There's another excuse we can eliminate. And we are excited about overcoming that and being able to do that. Nursing them, I nursed them until they were 2. I've done it while driving. I've done it whatever it had to take. I mean, there were issues I had some health challenges all along the way in those couple of years I'm still working on overcoming. And getting to where I was really malnutrition. And so I wasn't taking in nutrients, and we'd be in meetings, plus having babies that were waking up all hours of the night. We'd be in meetings, I'd be falling asleep. We'd be doing meet and greets with somebody at a coffee shop, and I'd be like, Lexi, you have to stay awake. They're like staring at you right now. You cannot fall asleep. So Trevor would always wonder, how come she goes to the bathroom every time we did a meeting? And it was only because halfway through the meeting, I had to get up and move, or I was gonna fall asleep in front of them. I had people on our team in board plans, they'd be like, oh my gosh, look at Lexi, they'd like poke at me. It was really funny, actually. Now it's okay, I can stay awake in meetings, it's good. But all those things of, allergies that my daughters have and cooking and they're not even really a big deal, but they're things that would stop people. And we got pumped about anything that we encountered, anything that we had the opportunity to overcome was going to be part of our story. It was going to be part of the things that would build us so that we could help other people or we can empower other people because, our successes impress people, but our challenges we overcome and our struggles that we overcome, those empower people. And that's what we clung to all the time. Because we have a faith, I think the other key to that was that we did have a faith. And not necessarily yes, we do have a faith in God, but not just that, but it's a faith in the things unseen with a work habit until you see them come to fruition. But I think that when people think, oh, great, I'll just have faith, whether it's a faith in God or whether I'll just have faith and everything's just going to magically be easy. No. If you're struggling, if you're frustrated, if you're like, oh my gosh, this is the hardest thing I've ever done, yeah, you're right on track. That's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to be hard, or this wouldn't be worth it. Or this would just be a pretty party and a celebration, but it wouldn't mean anything. It would not mean anything if there wasn't a struggle that we had to overcome. That's the thing that I'm so excited about being back in that diamond room is just because everybody had to do the same thing, overcome something to get back there. And wouldn't you think to live the life that a diamond lives, that it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to stretch you. You're going to have to grow more than you ever thought you would ever have to grow. I remember listening to Jan Severn in an old audio, and she said, to go diamond, it's going to take more than you ever thought it would take. And that, to me, helped me when I ever felt like I was having a pity party and feeling bad, like, oh man, it's so difficult, but this is so awesome. The fact that we were able to walk away from our jobs at 24 and 25 years old. I haven't had a job in 8 years. Trevor hasn't had a job in 6 years. We've been able to be a full-time couple for over half of our marriage. We were able to pay to have kids. I mean, who would have known that we wouldn't have been able to have kids without help ourselves? And gosh, that was between the fertility treatments and the doctor's bills, it was about $70,000. And being able to pay for that and not have to stress about that, and being a free family, waking up every single day and doing what we want every day. But we got free so we could have that peace and have that time with our family and with each other and with our kids. Because I'll tell you, it's awesome and it's amazing, but if you have incredibly huge dreams, and when you're around people that have amazing dreams, you have to go at least diamond to just be able to do half of the things that you want to do. And for us, it was basically what Marcy talked about. We got free so that we could build our business harder, a little bit more rested, until we had kids, a little bit more rested, and kick butt. It wasn't to just lay back. We just saw it as an opportunity to be able to sow into more people's lives and to help them and be able to truly focus on what we feel is our life calling and our life mission. to be able to show people that there is a great life out there. You can live without feeling that life of quiet desperation Ron Pruitt talks about. To where I feel like there's so many people that about 40, 50 years old, if you say, hey, how you doing? They're like, oh, good. And they just, people walk around as like shells of people with no more passion, no fire in them, no excitement. And just, they really have, because there's no hope for their future, there's no power in their present. They're not excited about anything anymore, and we didn't want that. We wanted to show other people that you can live with passion and purpose and excitement and do amazing things that you don't have to just settle for. You don't have to have a settle for life. I love one of the things that Sandy Saruta said, that she was so excited to not to live a have-to life, but a want-to life. And now, I guess the biggest thing is for you guys, you have to decide. I hear people say all the time, I want to be a diamond, I want to be a diamond. But are you willing to go diamond? Because the going process is what makes all the amazing diamonds that were up here the people they are today. And one of the things that I know Glenn and Joya got, and a lot of diamonds got, is a plaque when they went diamond. It says, the greatest reward for a man or a woman's dedication to excellence is not what he or she gets from it, but who they become through it. And that is the greatest blessing. The fact that I can stand up here and talk to this many people is like ridiculously crazy. I would have been hyperventilating and sweating and like terrified, and yeah, it's awesome. So I hope that you guys see that this is something you can do. You don't have, just where you're at right now is perfect. Embrace that, be excited about it, and just move. That's all you got to do. Just do something every single day. And don't allow yourself or other people to tell you can't. And then that's why you have a mentor. That when there's times when you don't think that you have it in you to keep going, that's when we would call Glenn and Joya, and they would help us continue to go. Tell us that, hey, you know what, we can see further down the horizon than you. Just keep going. If you keep pressing forward, you will reach that victory, but you just have to have faith that it will come, and be prepared for whatever that journey is. So I'm just so excited. I'm so thankful for Trevor, for him being willing to totally change, completely, like Glenn and Joy had talked about, reinvent himself, come up here and just be so hungry and eager to learn. And it didn't matter if you guys had a higher pin or not, we wanted to know. And he was willing to just change and grow and overcome and become amazing. He's an amazing husband and father and an incredible leader. I'm so excited for him to be able to live out his dream of being back there with the other diamond men and earning respect from the men he respects. So here's my incredible going crown husband, Trevor Baker.
Good job. Wow. That was amazing. That was amazing. Great job. But, wow, guys. Well, thank you guys very much for that amazing celebration. And, diamond is the true victory, guys. Family victory, right? Family legacy you get a chance to create. And, man, the FED stage, the grandest stage of all, right? Isn't it amazing? We don't get a chance to see in society what winning looks like in anything that truly matters, right? We get a chance to see what winning looks like in sports and in film and in music, but we never get a chance to see what winning in life looks like, what winning in leaving a legacy looks like. And I said an uncommon life requires an uncommon approach. Isn't it amazing how we all want to live a life different than the masses, but we are so insistent on fitting in with the masses? I loved what Dean talked about earlier today with, being willing to see, your current belief system coming into this room, but questioning your current belief system up until this point and allowing new beliefs to sink in to your life, right? Because ignorance deprives men of freedom because they do not know what alternatives there are. It is impossible to choose to do what one has never heard of. And so I'm proud of every single one of you guys for getting in this room and make yourself aware of what's truly available, what you're capable of accomplishing in your life. But, Lexi and I are nothing special. I think every single person in this room needs to understand that, right? We went, diamond this year. People say, wow, you went diamond so fast. But understand, guys, we did not go diamond so fast. We've been consistent and persistent in building our business for the last 10 years. Consistent and persistent in building our business for the last 10 years. But just 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, we watched Dina Marcy Whalen go diamond, and it lit a new fire in us like nothing else has ever lit a fire in us before, because we saw a new attitude, a new mindset, a new conviction. We came up here and we had our minds blown by the belief and the excitement and the enthusiasm and the unity that we saw up here in Canada. And that's what ignited our spirit to go back and take that back to Las Vegas and our Southern California teams and our organization. And guys, I just want to say thank you to every single one of you guys in this room, right? Because really, it was every one of you guys that truly inspired us to want to move on and to just make that decision to draw a line in the sand. You know, I think one of the big pivotal moments for us was to really truly identify what our values were. I spent a lot of time talking about with our organization, because not only should we be identifying the life that we truly want to have, the outcome in our lives, but what are our non-negotiables? What is it that we're not willing to negotiate on? And is it the outcome? Is your non-negotiables the outcome or the result that an opportunity can provide for you? Is your non-negotiables the path in itself? Right? There's so many people in this world that are so concerned and so committed to a particular path and so flexible with the vision that they miss the vision altogether. Right? So we became very committed to identifying what our values were and to begin to live the life we say we believed in. Because it's one thing to talk about our values. It's a completely different thing to live life based upon our values. Right? I find a lot of people, they talk about their values, but when they're in this arena here, they have these values, but when they're in this arena over here, they live out these values, right? If your values aren't the same in every arena that you're in, those aren't values, those are hobbies. And so we became very, very clear about what our value system was, what our non-negotiables were. For us, I'll share with you what our values were, because I'm not trying to push any of our beliefs in you and try to tell you that you need to believe what we believe. But guys, I believe that us identifying our values and beginning to live life according to our values is absolutely the reason that we're up here on the stage today, right? And so number one in our life became our faith, right? I believe that our life is God's gift to us, and what we do with it is our gift back to Him. And I just believe at the end of our life, I just don't want to stand before God and look at Him and go, I traded my life for money. Because I just believe He'll be greatly disappointed, right? When parents see their children living life far below their potential, it hurts the parents greater than it hurts the children at that moment. I believe that we were all designed for greatness. Number two, we believed in being a free couple, right? We believed in being a free couple. Not just, we didn't want to live leftovers with each other. We wanted to live life together. We wanted to build a future together versus make a living apart. Isn't it amazing how in our lives we are so focused on pursuing full-time jobs, but we realize as a result of that we only get to live part-time lives? Full-time jobs and part-time marriages, full-time jobs and part-time parents. Isn't that wild? But that's what the world believes is totally normal. That's what the world believes is normal. We believed in being free parents. Not just mommy at home, desperate housewives while daddy's out working full-time. Not just daddy at home while mommy's out working full-time. Not what I see in Las Vegas, in the city I live in, where he works days and she works nights, or she works days and he works nights. It's like a long-distance relationship in the same house. But the fact is, guys, we believed in being free parents because I believe that our kids' self-image is formed by what they hear, but their values are formed by what they see. And what's unfortunate for most people, what their kids are hearing and seeing is not the same thing. They're hearing us tell our kids that we love them, but then we talk about how we love our jobs. We spend more time with our job than we do with them, and our kids are wondering, who is job? Because there's no way they can comprehend that you're attaching the same words you use with them to something that will never love you back. We believed in building an asset. Right? The reason we pursued building an asset wasn't because it was for us. Wasn't because it was our cup of tea. Wasn't because it's what we always wanted to do. Wasn't because it's what we went to school for. It wasn't any of those things. We believed in building an asset because if we did not, then talking about being a free couple and talking about being free parents, saying my wife's the most important thing and saying my kid's the most important thing, because if truly those two things were most important to you, then you would not be looking for something that's for you. You'd be looking for absolutely anything that would actually allow you to live out those values. Right? I think I heard Dean say one time, he goes, the guy who started the porta potty business didn't do it because he wanted to be an entrepreneur. He wasn't sitting at home going, honey, I want to be the number one in the number two business. But how many people do we encounter every single day? I got to find what I love. I have to find something I'm interested in. I have to find something that I'm passionate about. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. We believed in being debt-free, right? But living below our means, which in a world of people who do not live below their means, living below your means is tough for a lot of people, right? It was tough, right? We've decided to live below our means. We would take a few steps back in society's eyes so we could take quantum leaps beyond them in the future. But it was tough. You know, with like our vehicles, we've been living below our means for a long time, and that's not just something that we believed in while we were building our diamond ship, that's something that we still believe in today, right? But, you know, shoot, Lexi, for instance, lost her ring about a week before we got married, her engagement ring, and I was like, hey, do you want me to get you a new one? Because I know how that can be, you know, important to some gals. He goes, you know, honey, no. He goes, I don't want us to get a new one right now. We'll get a new one when we go diamond. And so at Peter Island this year, Lexi's going to come home with something ridiculous. Because she deserves that, right? We've been driving the same old crappy cars for the last 10 years. Lexi's still driving the same old SUV we had over 10 years ago before we got, almost 11 years ago before we got married. Same old car. I had a Toyota Prius, drove that thing for 286,000 miles. It literally, the gas engine exploded while I was driving on like a 3.5-hour drive. And literally called a tow truck, had them come pick me up, tow me 180 miles. And I literally just posted it on Craigslist on the tow truck, drive back to town, sold it the next day, went out and bought just another cheap car that would allow us to get out there and build our business, build our future. I figured, you know, I'd let the diamonds do the motivating. I'm just going to continue driving something that is an appropriate tool for us to go out there and continue to build our asset, because everything we did, every decision we make was to align ourselves in the greatest position possible to focus all of our attention on building this business, on building our diamond ship. So, you know, in a couple months here, in a month or two, our goal is to get Lexi a brand new Cadillac Escalade 2015. You know, my dream car forever, I know materialistic stuff isn't really the most important thing, guys, but you know, hey, you know, I'd rather have a nice car than a crappy car. I'd rather live in a nice house than a, you know what I mean? But the fact is, my dream car forever has been a G550 Mercedes-Benz. And some of you guys may know what that is, you may not know what that is. Brad Duncan calls it a mail truck because it kind of looks like a square box. You know, it's kind of one of those cars that you either love it or hate it, right? If you love it, you love it. If you hate it, you probably can't afford it. But we believe in being debt-free, not borrowing money to have things. I mean, imagine if you only had what you've paid cash for. Imagine if I snapped my finger and you all only had what you paid cash for. There'd be a lot of homeless, naked, uneducated pedestrians up in this place, wouldn't there be? Isn't that amazing? But we truly believed in doing something significant with our lives. That was kind of our motto since we got married, was we wanted to make an impact, not just exist. Live a life of contribution, not just consumption, where it's all about me, I like what I do, it fulfills me, it's what I'm interested in, it's what I'm good at. But looking out there and stop living selfishly for ourselves, but start living selflessly for others. And that's what you have to do. You have to develop that mindset of living selflessly and serving others if you want to go diamond. You know what our dreams are now. People go, well, what are your dreams now? Well, actually, our dreams now are all the dreams of all the people in our organization. But we believe in doing something significant. I thought about people who truly did things that were significant, right? It's not about how long you live. It's about what you leave in people. They'll forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And so I think about people who've done significant things in society. The people that we hear about today, the people that history books are written about, like Martin Luther King or Nelson Mandela or Gandhi or any of these people that we all talk about today, of people who've done truly significant things with life. And I think about Martin Luther King, right? Stop living selfishly for himself and started living selflessly for others, right? Because, you know, Martin Luther King's life, if you were to read his biography, his life would have been a total piece of cake if he would have just shut his mouth, went to the back of the bus, and just went home. His life would have been a piece of cake if he just shut his mouth, walked to the back of the bus. I mean, what's wrong with the back of the bus? Everybody in high school likes the back of the bus. And just went home. But no, he had a dream that, you know, for us, you know, absolutely has affected the way that we all live in society in North America today. Because he had a humongous dream, a dream that he would never actually even live to see come to fruition, but he was willing to lay down his life so that that dream and that significant goal of his could be accomplished. But you know, the minute he decided to pursue that dream, you know what's amazing? Death threats, assassination attempts, hate mail, muggings, flaming bricks going through his windows at his house. And isn't it amazing that when you find real men, they are willing to stop living selfishly for themselves and start living selflessly for others? See, your family should never have to sacrifice so that you can have the life that you want. You should be willing to sacrifice so that your spouse and so that your children can have the life they truly deserve. You know, I think about guys like Martin Luther King and I go, why is it that we know Martin Luther King's name? Why is it that we know Martin Luther King's name? Well, most of us in this room, we don't know our great-grandfather's name. I always ask people that. I go, why do I know Martin Luther King's name, but I don't know my great-grandfather's name? They go, well, Trevor, of course you know Martin Luther King's name. Trevor, he did something. And they're absolutely right. That he did something unbelievably significant with his life. And those became our values. And those became the decision maker, the filter with which we'd make decisions in our lives. We looked at our non-productive time because, yes, we were busy. We had full-time jobs, right? And we looked at our non-productive time, and my dad used to look at me and said, son, are your values important enough to you that you'd be willing to reprioritize a portion of your non-productive time and invest it into building a future for yourself so that you could buy back the rest of your life? Pay now and play later versus playing around now and paying later. I was like, who wouldn't do that? He goes, most people. I'm like, well, he goes, television. Keeping up with the Kardashians. Nintendo games. Computer games. What I found is this, is that when we don't identify what our purpose is, we don't identify what our purpose is, and we're not winning in life, I truly believe that we're going to look for all these non-productive activities, shadow activities. What are shadow activities? Activities that would produce the same emotion that you would have hoped to accomplish if you would have truly had the guts to pursue what you truly wanted to accomplish. If you're not winning financially, World of Warcraft level 15, it's pretty good. Isn't that amazing that we'll look for all sorts of things that will temporarily fill that void for that thing that we would have hoped to accomplish truly in our lives? So you know what, guys? We just got serious about the fact that anything short of diamond was a near-life experience. It's amazing how we live our whole life talking about our near-death experiences, but no one actually ever realizes that all they live in their life is near-life experiences. How close they were to living. How close they were to being able to experience what it's like to be a free couple and actually have a marriage. What it feel like to actually be full-time parents and actually have that quality relationship with your children. And so we're just, blessed to have that because of this amazing opportunity, because of the amazing mentorship that came into our life. But guys, freedom is not free. Freedom is only one generation away from extinction. It is not passed to our children through the bloodstream. It is fought for and defended and given to them to do the same. And I believe that in this opportunity, it is not going to be passed down to the next generation through the bloodstream. It has to be defended and fought for by every generation. And Lexi and I just decided to take on that responsibility. We looked at all the diamonds on the stage, Ron, George Lee Pereira, Glenn and Joy Baker, my amazing mentors, my parents, Brad and Julie Duncan, Greg and Lori Duncan, all the amazing leaders in this organization, and realizing that freedom that they spent 30 years, Ron and George Lee, 40 years of their life defending and fighting for, so that we could walk into a stadium like this and go, wow, look at this amazing event. That we have an amazing environment to come into, that would not just be, that not necessarily would be there forever unless new people decided to step up and rise to the challenge and take responsibility over the fact that it's going to require the next generation of leaders. And I'm not talking about an age, just the next generation of leaders to step up and take that baton and carry it on for the next 50 years so that our kids and our grandkids have the same opportunity that you and I were given. So that's really important. Lexi and I decided that when we got freed, that our freedom should be leveraged for the sake of others. And we had that modeled to us by our amazing mentors. Glenn and Joy Baker, my amazing parents, my amazing mentors, have been 100% all in this business for 25 years. They were not looking for other things. They were not looking for other things to succeed at. They were not looking for other ways to make money. This business gave us everything we wanted. It gave them everything they wanted and would give them everything they wanted, so they made this everything they did. But we watched them with their freedom, take their freedom and leverage it for the sake of others. And I think that's why we adopted it, because we saw it modeled to us by the amazing leaders in this organization. We decided to wage war on the low expectation culture has set upon our generation. Culture expects absolutely nothing of Generation Y, other than Nintendo, moving back in with your parents at 26 years old. They expect nothing of us. We decided we were going to wage war on the low expectations that culture put upon our generation and let them know this generation would not be the lost generation, the Y generation. We decided that we were going to become very intentional about who we chose to invest time with. Because, you can spend time with people, you can trade time. Spending time and trading time, that's called having a job, because if you spend time and trade time for 5 years, you have money for 5 years, and that's it. You can spend time and trade time. You can kill time. You can waste time. But we decided that we would become very intentional and invest time with people. So we became very intentional of who we allowed to speak into our lives. Our inner circle grew drastically smaller in size, but exponentially greater in value. Our inner circle grew drastically smaller in size the day we decided to get serious about our future and this family right here. Level 1 relationships, but it grew exponentially greater in value. Man, if I would not have had the guts to look at my friends who did not have the guts to come with us on this journey. See, I've never lost a friend in this business. I've never left anybody in this business. A lot of those people made the conscious choice not to come with us. It's not that we were leaving them. They chose not to come with us. But if we would not have had the guts to be a leader and to go, you know, guys, okay, like Marcy's amazing talk today, and turn around and go this direction hand in hand with my wife and then our future babies, we would not have met the amazing leaders that have come into our life today. We would not have met the amazing leaders that are now some of our greatest friends in life. It's amazing how in this organization you get to draft your future friends. Like Dean talked about, man, you get a job, your friends are all picked for you. You don't get to walk in your job and go, hey, hey, I don't like any of these people, I want to bring in all my friends. We look for people that we had a compatibility with that wanted to do these things and accomplish similar things that we wanted to accomplish in life. So we looked at our non-productive time and we said, if associating with this person or that person does not move us towards the alignment of our values, we decided we could not afford to spend time with those people anymore. Because your association will make you or break you. It's probably one of the most powerful things, your association. I mean, isn't it amazing that if you have children, if you ever had your children go over and spend time with somebody else, or somebody else's children, they went and spent a night over at a friend's house, came back home the next day and was back talking and sassy, what would be your number one thought? My kid is bad? No. You'd be thinking, they're not going to hang out with that kid anymore. Because all this is, their back talking, their sassiness is a symptom of their association. Can being in debt and buying things you can't afford to impress people you don't even like, could that be a symptom of association? We decided to become very strategic around who we allow to speak into our lives. Relationships with intentionality. You know, it's amazing how many people have approval addiction disorder. They're so hungry and they so desire the approval from everybody else around them that they never actually make great decisions for themselves. You know, we decided, guess what? That our organization would be a manifestation of our self-image. You know, Lexi and I, we've set a lot of goals for ourselves. We've missed every goal we've ever set in our journey. So those of you guys who have ever set goals before and missed them, don't feel discouraged. Lexi and I have missed every single goal we've ever set. I mean, we can look back. We were looking through some old drawers, and we found these calendars, and it said Trevor Lexi Baker, Diamonds 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 13, 14, and 15. But you know what we realized? God's timing is perfect. Because I was telling somebody over here earlier, man, if we would have been given the leaders, the quality of leaders, the caliber of leaders in our organization that we have today 5 years ago, we would not have been able to handle it. So we were being prepared over the last 10 years to handle and to be given the weight of responsibility of leading the amazing people in our organization today. Because like Lexi said, it's not what you get from it, it's who you become through it. Right? It's who you become through it. You know, it's amazing our generation wants to change the world. Right? Isn't it amazing? The Generation Y, we all have this idealistic view of changing the world. But before you can change the world, you have to change your world. I believe we can change the world in this business because of mentorship in this amazing organization where they expose people to the truth. I believe this will absolutely change the world. Now, you know, because I don't believe we may not ever be the majority in numbers, but we don't have to be. Because 10,000 followers don't change the world, but one leader does. 100,000 followers do not change the world, but one leader does. But guess what's being taught in this amazing organization? Influence, leadership, the truth, principle-based decision-making, values, character and integrity. What if there was thousands and thousands and thousands of you guys decided just to draw a line, buckle down, and put in the work? Build your diamond ship. This place, there'd be stadiums in every major city in Canada, every major city across North America, packed with people like this that are fired up about building a future for themselves. And there's going to come a point in time where we may never be the majority in numbers, but we will be the majority in influence. And there'll be a critical mass of people making value-based decisions. We'll permeate every culture that we're a part of. We'll permeate every culture that we're a part of. We decided to become very intentional on where we chose to invest our time in our organization. Never make somebody a priority who's making you an option. And never make somebody an option who's making you a priority. When someone treats you like you're just one of many options, help them narrow their choices by removing yourself from the equation. It's not pride, it's self-respect. Don't give part-time people full-time positions in your life. Know your value and what you have to offer and never settle for anything less than you deserve. You know, You know, there's something that Lexi and I have been thinking about a lot in our organization, you know, because as an organization gets larger and larger and larger, you know, our team and the people that we have a chance to touch personally become further and further and further away from us. Let's call it the nucleus of our organization, that core group of leaders. A nation is born stoic and dies Epicurean. And I related that to an organization is born stoic and will die Epicurean. Now, I didn't really know what those words meant. I just thought it sounded really smart. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to look up what these words mean. And stoic means, it's like the people who, let's say, for instance, came over from Europe to the United States of America, started the United States of America, willing to put their lives, their fortune, their sacred honor to defend freedom and to fight for what we all now feel is just our rights, right? They fought for it. They were willing to give up short-term pleasure for long-term gain. But as time goes by and it gets further and further and further away from that original core, people become Epicurean, meaning that they become entitled. They did not know, they don't understand the price that was paid for the freedoms that they now have. And so, you know, guys, I think it's really important that, especially as an organization begins to grow, that as growth happens, you know, you can read about it in a lot of major companies that they said as growth happens, like what I think about with Apple, because, you know, Steve Jobs was really the vision, the passionate leader behind Apple, and as this organization grew larger and larger and larger, he didn't touch every person. It got further and further away from him, and they said that after a while, the leaders, the original leaders of that organization used to look at each other and go, you know, it's just not like it used to be. And I just told Lexi, we never want to get to the point where we look at each other as our organization begins to grow and look at each other going, it's not like it used to be. And I think the important thing that we realize is we need to continue teaching not just what we do, but why we do it. Why we have what we have today. Being unbelievably grateful. I hope you guys here in this function understand how unbelievably incredible what you guys have your hands on is. I hope you guys really understand that. Because Lexi and I a handful of years ago became unbelievably hungry to get into these environments, to get into this arena, to get around your amazing leaders, just to learn what you guys, it's all you know. So let me share with you guys what you have is so unbelievably valuable. And never take for granted what you've been given, guys. What you have is the most amazing thing in the world. With the amazing leadership you have here in this organization, with the amazing leadership you have up here in Canada, it blows our mind, it inspires us every single day, guys. But we just love you so much, and I'll end with this. For leaders, vulnerability, being willing to be vulnerable with your coach, with your mentor, they should know more about you than anybody else in your life. Because the more they know about what's going on in your life, the better they can mentor you. Man, we can look back at our journey, we've failed far more than we've succeeded. You know you're succeeding in this opportunity when you feel like you're still going to feel like you're failing like 90% of the time. So if you feel like you're failing 90% of the time, guess what? Quit looking out here for answers and out here for answers. Stay committed to the partnership of what your mentors are teaching you. Don't look all over the place. Stay committed. Don't look all over the place. Because you will feel like you're coming up short again and again and again. But your mentors can see farther over the horizon than you. We just had to begin to just have faith that what we were being taught, what we were being mentored, was going to work. And we stayed committed. So guys, you know what? We believe in you guys. We love you. You guys can do this. Let's go, guys. We love you.